Hi everybody! How are ya? I hope you're doing super well. Today I am decorating my museum, so I've got a pocket full of stuff that I think could potentially look cool over there. And my museum is tucked away in the back to the right of resident services. I terraformed a couple small waterfalls and this little stream here, so you just hop on over and you're at the museum. Usually when I start decorating, I like to throw down some fencing and throw down the furniture and try to get a feel for where I want everything to be, because sometimes depending on what's where, the pathing will change a little bit. So you guys will see me throw stuff down and pick it back up and walk around it, and I'm just trying to get kind of a feel for the dimensions and see where I can fit some stuff. And because this is the museum, of course, we gotta have a tiny library. People want to come and read about cool critters and fossils and stuff. And I also ended up using this ironwood cart because it's got some books on it too, and I just think that the brown matches quite nicely. And I went ahead and threw down this lantern. I love the lanterns. I love all color variants of them. I have one in front of my house and I have one in front of Nook's. I'm trying to get my hands on a red one because, as some of you know, my island's name is Redfish, so I think it'd be quite suiting to have some little red lanterns around. This area I kind of struggled with a bit. I wasn't sure what would look right or look natural in this area. I ended up putting down this tin bucket and dragged it all the way over. I think the idea was that someone who's working at the museum might be trying to collect some specimens or something in the water, so maybe some water bugs or some little fish, and they would need the bucket to put them in. And of course, while they're fishing, they gotta have somewhere to sit, so I put this little wooden stool here, and the fabric on it is just from Sable. I love Sable's fabrics. I think that they're so awesome, and I use them quite a bit. I ended up trying to put this book stand here, and it was sideways. But I ended up not really liking it as much as the moss ball anyway, because there's already some books in the tiny library and there's some books below, so it was just book overload. The idea with this picture was that maybe someone would be drinking some lemonade or something while they're reading. I got caught right there, and so I tore it all down, I put it back up, and then I realized that I couldn't put my book back the way that I wanted to. And I just kind of pull things and push them and see how they would look in different areas and just try to get a feel for what I like. I put this mush log right here and I wanted to be able to see it across the river when you're sitting down, so I ended up picking it back up and pushing it a little bit further back. I also had this common butterfly model, which I love. I need to get a couple more of them and it's just quaint and cute, and I thought that it fit there pretty well. And here I try the books again. I give them another shot. They weren't working out for me. I think if I had the stack of books DIY, then it could look quite cute. But for now, like I said, it's just book overload. It's just not working out. I tried the picture over there too, but I don't know, like I said, I just couldn't get that area quite right, and I threw those hyacinths down because I was trying to see if I could fit them behind the stool, and then if I push the stool back, then it's in line with the lantern, and I like to kind of stack things, so I ended up putting the stool over here, which maybe doesn't make a lot of sense because you already got a bench there, but I think it's quite cute. Now that I've donated quite a few fossils to the museum, I can finally start collecting some to use as decoration, but right now I only have the amber. Eventually, when I get a few more, I'd like to maybe throw them up on the cliffs and kind of have them tucked away. And I just put these little hyacinth buds here just to see what it would look like. I ended up having to go get some more flowers anyway, but I just wanted to test it out. I use mostly white flowers at the museum right now, and I mean kind of primarily everywhere right now, I think just because it looks good with the snow, but eventually when spring comes I'm gonna switch some of that stuff out and make it a little more colorful. I tried really hard to put a flower there in a space that just was non-existent. You can see I goodness gracious, the poor film camera, I moved it around so much, and it just was not working out. So I decided that since I had some furniture down, it was time to start laying out some pathing. I do use some custom design paths. I really like the stones, but I'm also a huge sucker for being able to see the pathing on the map. So that's why I've taken to using some of the in-game pathing as well. I really like to crisscross them like this and use a couple of them just to give it some texture. And once I have the outline, I just fill them right in. I also quite like to break up the pathing a little bit by making these big parts, and I also sometimes will leave some spaces blank so that I can put some weeds or something, because I kind of like the idea that maybe the weeds are, peeking through the cracks of the pavement. So some places here I make them a little bit thicker, and some of them I just kind of pepper them around. Here I got distracted by this balloon. I really thought it was going to go into the water, so I'm glad that it didn't, but it just ended up being this thing. So I was like, okay. I'm also a pretty big fan of the little in-game clover design, and I like to use those on top of the pathing and stuff to, like I said, just give it some more texture and some more variety. So I was pretty happy with this at this point. I went ahead and threw my stool down, and I ended up throwing the bucket down right next to it. And then I realized that I forgot to put some flowers back here. So I ended up tearing up this white tulip because the tulips and the mums have a little more of a yellow tint to them than the hyacinths and the lilies and stuff. So I thought that since the pansies and the lilies are adjacent to each other, maybe it'd look a little bit nicer to have them be more of a similar color. But I ended up throwing a tulip up on the cliff to kind of balance it all out. Here I am just organizing my pockets, because if I don't, then I go crazy. And then I just kind of fill things in from here. I think by far the pathing probably took the longest out of the entire process, just because I was trying to get it right and, you know, make it look randomized enough to the point that I liked it. Here I am getting some more flowers and picking up some bushes, because I really like to fill things in with the bushes. So I finished some more of the pathing, and now it's time to decorate up on the cliffs. I had kind of a tough time with the cliffs too. I moved things around a lot. I think just because it's a little bit of a smaller space and you can't layer items and plants and stuff as much as you can on more of a flat surface. I went up and down a lot to try to kind of see how things looked from down below. So sometimes when things are lined up perfectly like that, like how the bush was kind of lined up with the bench, I'm just not a big fan of that for whatever reason. That's why I try to layer items even more if they're up above. And Hornsby came to see what I was doing. I just took that darn picture down because I was sick of going around, up and down, all over the place. And Miss Lily came to see what was going on too. Sweet gal. So after I put down and picked up these weeds many a times, I finally thought, oh, why don't I just put something here? And I really, really like this plant. I think that the purple and the green and the brown looks so nice. It goes so well with all the rest of the furniture. And I just went ahead and put a little dark brown spot underneath it just to kind of give it some more dimension. I was struggling with those weeds there. I wanted the fluffy one, but I just ended up kind of giving up. And same thing right here. I was trying to sit down, but it wouldn't let me, so I ended up just kind of giving up. So now I'm going to start decorating a little bit towards the back, where you can see the little bits of cliff in the back. I tend to move things around quite a bit. I'm pretty particular about where things go and just how they're layered. I thought that putting this fencing behind was pretty darn cute, and especially when you're walking behind the museum, it kind of just separates off the area a little bit better. And I got distracted by another balloon. It had this cute little Alice in Wonderland dress in it. And at this point I realized that I had probably wanted another tree right there, hence why I made that hole. So I realized that I didn't have any full-grown trees anymore. I need to go grow some more. But I did have these two smaller little money trees ready to go, and they'll do for now. So these trees will grow in by tomorrow, and I decided to throw one up here too. I try to fit trees pretty much wherever I can, if it looks reasonable, that is. I really like the more densely forested look. And I just happened to have this other little log bench right here, so I threw it down. As you could tell, I had gotten a little bit flustered with this area, but I ended up making it work, and I'm glad that I got to use that cute little snail model in the end. So one of the last things I did was throw some of this rope fencing in. I think that this fencing looks very museum-esque, so I had to include it. And sometimes things don't really bother me if they're not fully even. In fact, usually I prefer that, but with this fencing, I was toying with it a lot because I wanted to have enough space to be able to walk around comfortably, but it was also really bugging me when it wasn't even. But I ended up getting it to a place that I enjoyed. I was worried that maybe the fencing would make it a little bit difficult to walk behind that small slab of land there, but it ended up making it kind of more of like a little secret path, so I was fine with that. So I am pretty much all done with the museum area. I have to put down some pathing here in front of resident services, and everyone's just hanging out today. But here's what I came up with. I have this fencing, and I had realized that I forgot to decorate the top of my second cliffs, but that's okay because I need to get some trees and some more flowers and stuff. So I'm pretty happy with this right now. You can jump across this way and come sit down, if it'll let you. Right there. You can read your book, drink some lemonade, study up on some cool things. And yeah, I had a lot of fun decorating this area. I sometimes think it's more fun to decorate areas that are a little bit smaller just to kind of challenge yourself and see what you can fit in there. But thank you guys so very much for joining me today and for watching me do this little speed decoration. I hope that you have such a lovely day or night, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!